Hey everybody, John Greenwald here with theblackvault.com. Here is a unfolding story for you that is unfolding literally today. This roots to some leaked UAP related imageries that has surfaced. And as most of you know, at least those that watch this channel, I am not a fan of leaks at all because generally you can't cite any provenance for where things come from, and to verify it becomes impossible. There's one exception to that has intrigued me. I've said it on this channel before, and I'll say it again. The imagery, visuals like photographs and videos that have come out from Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp, they intrigue the heck out of me because they've checked out. In each instance that they have published something, the Pentagon has, when they've commented, backed up that imagery as legitimate. Now, that does not lock in the fact that the government says they're UAP. Now we're going to have to rely a little bit on Jeremy and George there. I was never able, even going back to those original leaks in, what was it, 2021, the government never would say that they were UAP, but they would acknowledge that they were being utilized by the UAP task force and the imagery was real. Now, that kind of changed a little bit over time to where the government stopped talking about it. They would not comment, especially that which came from classified presentations, which the Mosul Orb, which was the last one that Jeremy Corbell and George had released, that was the case there. The fact that it was labeled as coming from a classified presentation, even though Jeremy says that it was unclassified imagery, that's up for debate, by the way, in my book, but that's just an opinion. According to Jeremy, it was unclassified. Doesn't matter. The fact that it came from a classified product, the Pentagon told me no, they would not be commenting or authenticating it at all. But going back to what I said, things really do check out. I believe strongly, despite the controversy sometimes that comes along with the reporting of Jeremy and George, and that's not supposed to be a jab at all. I respect both of those guys. They obviously have connections, but I'm referring to some of their stances on things like Bob Lazar and stories like that. Aside from that controversy, this material that has essentially been leaked, I know that Jeremy and George use the verbiage, they publish it, rather than they leaked it. And that's fine. I just want to make sure I differentiate there. But this is leaked material. And today there was more. And this is brand new stuff. This comes again from Jeremy and George. I want to make sure that I plug their Weaponized Podcast. That's where all this material is coming from. So when we talked about the Mosul Orb on this channel, that was their Weaponized Podcast that published that and released that and started kind of the snowball effect of people talking about that. But here we are with yet another one. This one is called the Baghdad Phantom UAP. So I want to make sure that you guys, if you're not aware, check out their Weaponized Podcast. I integrated their video within the article I published on the Black Vault. You'll be able to see exactly what George and Jeremy said about the release of this. But what I want to go over in this video is exactly what was released and kind of stick to really the hardcore facts on this and let you guys explore a little bit more should you choose by going to the Weaponized Podcast channel and seeing their material there. But I can tell you the imagery was from 14 May 2022. So we're talking about just last year, not even a year old, which is pretty interesting because most stuff, you know, you're talking about at least a few years ago, if not generally much longer. But some of these leaks are staying pretty current, which is interesting. There were 6 images that Jeremy had released. From what I can kind of gather from what he's saying here, these stills were derived from a 7-second long video clip. The question mark for me is, and this goes to the Mosul Orb, which I never heard back from Jeremy, and I did reach out to him about this, was did he create the derivative product, meaning the images, or did he gets sent the stills, but never saw the footage, but was told it existed. That might be somewhere, so forgive me if I'm missing it in an article or description somewhere. I try my best to kind of fact check all of this, but if I'm wrong there, I apologize. I reached out to Jeremy to try and answer that if they would be releasing the clip, but I did never hear back. When it comes to this, we're told that there was a 7-second long video where these images came from. It was shot using forward-looking infrared or FLIR. FLIR is how we usually hear about this nowadays. And it was recorded by a Reaper drone in the United States Air Force. According to Jeremy, the object here, and let me go ahead and show you guys. You'll see it right there. These are the 6 frames. I created this animation from the 6 frames to create a video. So I kind of reversed what I think Jeremy did and then created back the video. Are there missing frames? Maybe, likely, not sure. I'm not going to get into video analysis on this video here, and I generally don't on this channel as a whole. Rather, I just like to bring you guys the information. But you can see here the 6 different stacked photos. You see that object there. Can you see that? See it kind of go across? Now, a lot of people, and you might be included in this list, and at first glance, me too. Hey, that's like a Tomahawk missile. That looks like a missile in a war zone because this is over Iraq. It's in 2022, although, the U.S. claims, I guess, we're not at war there anymore. Obviously, a lot of action still happens there. So what's the likelihood of that being some kind of weaponry? In my opinion, pretty high. But I'll show you something that may kind of counter that theory. Play devil's advocate with myself here. I'll get to that in a moment. I went ahead and linked each 6 image, so you can go ahead and click on it and you can zoom in. These are the highest resolutions that I know are available. Hopefully, maybe there'll be something else available at a different time, but you'll be able to kind of zoom in, do whatever you want to do on there. A couple quick points that I want to make here before I get to the final one about that it being potentially a missile, which I think a lot of people are looking at this and leaning towards. It was confirmed as being in central Iraq. User on Twitter goes by the handle Flarky. They're fairly well known in threads like this, kind of drilling into the data points, geo coordinates, stuff like that, and authenticating whether or not things are really where they are claimed to be, at least when it comes to the information on screen. Let me get a better one here. So like this information, and they're able to again decipher the geo coordinates. They tracked it to central Iraq, which is essentially where Jeremy was saying it was from. The same is true actually for the Mosul orb, and I believe it was Flarky that first posted that, and actually found the Google Street View of where it was taken. So you can really drill down and kind of authenticate that this is exactly where they said it was going to be. But what the object is kind of a question mark. Now, the last point that I want to go ahead and bring up to you guys, and then go hog wild crazy, dig in as much as you can, look at it. You might not be impressed. You'll throw your arms up and pick up your monitor and throw it out your window. Or you might say, hey, this is pretty cool. There's hopefully something more to this. I posted, I believe this was frame number 4 out of the 6, but you can see the object here. And what I did was, you could see, it might be hard to see on this. I'm trying my best here. Yeah, I can't really zoom it in beyond that. So that's the best we're going to get. But on this YouTube video, you can see this here. And a lot of people determined that they felt that was a plume of some kind. So this being, let's say, a Tomahawk missile or a missile of some kind, plume behind it. It's over an active war zone, a lot of action taking place there. Let's deduce it's a missile of some kind. But let me just throw something out to you guys. When you really zoom in, and this is a little bit easier to see on the YouTube video, you're going to see what are like ghost-like impressions, pardon the pun with the name of the video, of the object itself, which is right here. And then the impressions that you can see pretty much match up by length and by appearance. And you can see it again, maybe hard on the YouTube video, but please download those stills, zoom in, look at what I'm talking about. These obviously, I put these on here. to just kind of show this particular object and these ghost images. Is this a sensor anomaly? So these things here that we think are a plume, and some people are saying, that's a missile, look at the plume, are actually not even there, that it's an anomaly or a sensor artifact of some kind by the Reaper drone. Is it the resolution it was recorded at? Is it because of the speed of the object? There's quite a few different options here, but it doesn't look like a plume. Why? If it was a plume, you wouldn't have these brakes here unless it was a pulse type engine. And if it was a pulse type engine, it likely would not match almost exactly and arguably exactly the length and size of the object itself. So a pulse-like engine, and this reminds me of decades ago, the rumors about the Aurora aircraft and the pulse engine that it had. You wouldn't see this. So essentially, I don't think you're looking at a plume. Now, again, I don't do analysis on this channel, and I'm not trying to do so here. But this just, at quick glance, you can clearly see that it's likely not a plume. So is it ruled out as a missile? Absolutely not. That could absolutely be what we are looking at. A projectile, maybe. Who knows? But I wouldn't be so quick to accept the missile theory simply because the plume is what is convincing people, and I don't think it's a plume at all. Again, I stick to my lane, though. I'm not a video or image analyst. I can do very basic things and throw out some food for thought. But given the debate on the gimbal, especially the gimbal video, and what exactly happened, is it rotating? Is it not? Is it glare? That has gone on for years, and it gets incredibly intense. And both sides make amazing points where you read one and go, aha, they solved it. And then you read the counterpoint, aha, never mind. And it's entirely impossible to figure out. I'm not going to, again, steer out of my lane and start analyzing these things one way or the other. I just don't know. But hopefully that'll give you some food for thought as you dig into this and look at the imagery and try and figure out what it is. I'm going to paraphrase what George and Jeremy said in their broadcast, but they were publishing to put it out there for ideas and feedback. So I commend them for saying that. They're not here to tell you this is what it is, but rather they're at least looking for feedback. So if you have any experience whatsoever with either this type of either weaponry or reconnaissance system or drone platform, or you're just an image analyst, please feel free to post your comments below and let us know what you think and why, and have others look at it and dissect it. That's the only way we're going to learn with this. I mean, we can't take anybody at their word anymore. We can only do what we are motivated to do and go from there. I have reached out to the Pentagon on this one as well. I already told you what happened with the Mosul orb. With this one, it's still unwritten as I have recorded this episode and dropped it on the channel. So as of the recording of this, I have zero response from the Pentagon. I do have, however, confirmation that they've opened it and read it and received my request. Whether or not they'll answer, whether or not it'll be the same as the Mosul orb, your guess is as good as mine. So we'll see. When it does happen, though, if it happens, of course, I will bring it to you right here on the Black Vault Originals channel. Make sure you subscribe if you're not already. Thumbs up are a huge help to these types of videos. And above all else, sharing the word, sharing these videos if you feel they're worthwhile to help spread the word. That's the biggest help to me. So I appreciate that. Any help you decide to do. Thank you so much for watching. This is John Greenwald Jr. signing off, and we'll see you next time.